progressive overload. This is what you need to build muscle. So how can you do it now you're at home? Most people think that weight is the only way to progressively overload what they're doing in the gym or with their exercises. However, there are many different ways to do this. So first one is using isometrics. So that is a hold of some kind. So whether that's a squat hold, a plank hold, you can do a wall sit, or you can do like a glute bridge hold. Yeah, so isometrics, so you're doing the movement, but you're not actually moving your body, okay? So that's one good way. Another way is time under tension. So how long is your muscle moving through that range of motion? So we'll use a bicep curl. So if you lift the weight and take 3 seconds to lift it, hold it at the top for 3 seconds, and then 3 seconds to lower it. That's a lot longer that muscle is being under tension for, so therefore it's pushing it to work that little bit harder, rather than say doing 1 second up, no pause at the top, and then 1 second down. So increasing the time it takes you to perform one repetition of an exercise. Another way is increasing the reps or the sets. So how many repetitions you do of those bicep curls, or how many sets. So previously in the gym, you might have done 3 sets of 10. You might now at home think that 3 sets of 15 or 4 sets of 15, you know, you're progressing it that little bit more. Obviously you might not have as much weight as well, so you might want to go to those bigger rep ranges and obviously more sets as well, depending what weight you've got to use. Another one, obviously like I said before, is adding more weight. You might find that you've not got any weights at home, so what can you do to add more weight? You can use another person, you can use a dog, a cat. If you've not got anything like that, then what you can do is get a backpack or shopping bags. Every day or every time you want to do the exercise, put a certain number of items into that backpack or into the shopping bags. So again, we'll use a bicep curl. So if you're using shopping bags and you've got 2 tins of soup in each one, the week after, make it 3, okay? Add a bottle of water in a few weeks later. You're progressively overloading that weight. Obviously, you're not really sure of the weight that you're lifting, but obviously if you're pushing it past your failure or what you're capable of each time, then obviously that's going to help you out and obviously push that along. The next one, modifying the exercise, so making it a little bit harder. If you're currently doing press-ups and you're doing them on your knees, then obviously try and progress that through the different ranges that you can do with press-ups to eventually get to a full press-up. So whatever exercise you're doing now, make it a little bit harder, modify it a little bit differently, and then obviously that'll increase the intensity of that exercise and obviously make it that little bit harder for you. AMRAPs, which is as many reps as possible. So some things you can do, which people do in a lot of HIIT workouts, is how many can you do of something in a minute? How many burpees can you do in a minute? How many press-ups? How many squats? How many jump lunges? You know, doesn't have to be a high intensity exercise. It could be bicep curls. How many can you do with the weight that you've got in that minute? Then can you progress it over time? So you could use it that way for time, or you could use it just as many as you can do. How many bicep curls can you do until your arm gives way, and that is enough, you know? And then over time you'll find that you can push that up that little bit more, and again that's progressively overloading that muscle to what it was previously used to doing. Another one, reducing the time between the sets. So if you normally have a minute and a half rest between doing your bicep curls, we're going to use bicep curls for everything, then maybe shorten that time, you know, shorten it down to a minute. Can you recover in that time before you're doing the next set? If you're having less time to recover, you're pushing your body a little bit more on that second and third set that you're doing. Again, progressively overloading what you're doing, pushing your body to a new different limit than it's used to. And lastly, supersets and giant sets. So I love supersets anyway. I do this with my clients. I personally do it myself for a time-saving aspect with some smaller muscle groups. So supersetting is putting 2 exercises together, so back to back. So if you are doing that bicep curl, go straight into something to do with triceps, okay? So you're working the opposite muscle. So you do a bicep curl, then you might do a tricep extension, and then have your rest, okay? Then do the 2 exercises together. So again, you're pushing your body beyond its limits of what it normally might do. You can then progress that to a giant set. So you might do 1 exercise on biceps, 1 on triceps. You might then do some squats and then some lunges, and then you might do chest press for a random example. Okay, so you can just shove a load of exercises together, however that looks for you, or whatever you want, you know, that's fine. So you're pushing your body a little bit harder because you're asking it to work for that little bit longer over time. So you don't need a gym to do progressive overload. You can change everything up that I've just mentioned to make it that little bit harder and push yourself that little bit further. If you need any more help or if you've got any questions, just let me know.